you have to call your parents and tell them not to buy things from Temu. Hello, good morning, BBs.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And what a game. The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know who won yet. I don't think all districts have reported.
Yeah.
So we're waiting a few
I heard
days.
the cannons last night.
Yeah. There were cannons?
Yeah. For
wow.
each time a player fell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's also beautiful. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Really.
I think it's all of those things.
Yeah. So, in a few days when we know who won, we'll report that to y'all.
Can I be honest with you? I genuinely don't know who won
I
the Super
literally
Bowl.
don't
I
know.
actually, truly, genuinely don't know.
Can somebody let us know who won the Super Bowl?
Wait, spoilers. What if people haven't watched it yet?
I'm
What if
trying to
people
watch.
haven't watched the Super Bowl yet?
I'm binging them all in order.
Yeah.
I'm on Super Bowl 15 now.
Right.
And I'm trying to get all the way through.
Which one was this?
What do you have questions? What do you got questions for me? Are you name 3 Super Bowlsing me?
I am.
If you're such a Super Bowl, why don't you
Such a white dude.
why don't you name 3 Super Bowls? Nobody. I think the Chiefs. People are saying that the Chiefs won. Taylor Swift's boyfriend won.
Taylor Swift's team?
Yeah,
Okay.
Travis Kelce won.
Good for her.
Yeah. I'm going to reshare your Instagram.
Wait, right, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to reshare your Instagram right
Yeah,
now.
that's probably most important.
I did not watch the Super Bowl yesterday. Sorry.
I didn't either. Did you watch the halftime show?
No.
I watched the halftime show.
How was Usher?
He ushered so hard, dude.
Dude,
He did so much ushering.
did he play all the hits?
He played snippets of all the hits, I would say. Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah,
He did a
That's the
medley.
Super Bowl medley. That's what
Hey.
they do. They've got like 15 minutes to play every song you've ever liked, and Usher's been around a long time.
Do sports fans know that that's like they're getting such a musical theater thing during the halftime show?
No.
That they're just getting like a Rodgers and Hammerstein medley of like the end?
Definitely not.
I love that.
One of my least favorite trends to come out of yesterday is I feel like everybody was suddenly able to identify like which of the people they went to high school with became such a pick-me by all of the women. Because I like logged on, I go on Facebook now just to use Facebook Marketplace. And you unfortunately have to see the top of the feed before you can get to Marketplace.
Yeah.
You have to like fight for your fucking life just to get to the Marketplace tab. And the amount of posts that I saw from girls that I grew up with in like Orange County being like, ugh, I'm just so tired of people making football about Taylor Swift. We don't want to see her. I'm here for the football.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to see the people that are there. Nobody ever wants to like look at what celebrities are there or what celebrities are performing or what celebrities are in commercials. It's definitely for every single person.
Yeah.
All about the pure love of the
sport,
football.
the game.
Yeah. The sweet science, they call it.
Yeah.
No, that's boxing.
Okay.
America's pastime. No, that is baseball. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, here's the thing. Whatever reason you like is totally valid. Whatever reason you want to watch anything you want to watch in your life, except for a couple things that are like illegal.
Yeah.
That are illegal and immoral.
I'd say there are exceptions.
There are exceptions, but mostly, if something's on TV and you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. It doesn't matter why.
Yeah.
Some people just throw Super Bowl parties because parties happen so rarely. And
That's true.
fine too.
And if you want to just go to a party, I was somebody who always would go to the Super Bowl party after the game was over.
Oh yeah.
Or I would stop by at halftime. I don't mind being at a Super Bowl party, and I don't mind people enjoying the Super Bowl, but I don't like when people yell. And a lot of people yell at the Super Bowl.
I like to know at a Super Bowl party that there are a couple designated areas.
Yeah.
So you can
No yell zones?
So you can go check in on the game.
Yeah.
But then you can leave watching the game if you don't want to watch the game. You can go
Yeah.
get snacks. You can go to a quiet zone.
I'd like a quiet zone.
A little quiet zone would be nice.
I'd love that.
Alex, I don't know if you're aware, but our
I
background
got it,
is
yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
But there is, I think, Saige,
Mm-hmm.
there was actually literally only one reason to watch the Super Bowl this year.
What was it?
We're going to talk about it in just a minute. You know what else we're going to talk
Hey, no, I don't, because my computer just restarted. What else are we going to talk about, Anthony?
Well, we're going to talk about some trailers, and
Okay.
those are tangentially Super Bowl related.
All right.
For sure. We're going to talk about Skull and Bones. We're going to talk about some FTC news. Oh, we love a little FTC news.
Yeah,
Oh,
it depends.
We love some finance news.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Wow, look at us being business.
We love to just get up in the morning and on Monday morning at 9 a.m. and be like, what's going on with business?
Yeah. That little thing that automatically gets added to your Windows bar that tells you about the stock market. Look at it every morning.
Yeah?
Yeah, I looked at the little line, see what way it's going.
What way was it going this morning? Don't wait.
Kind of a...
It was going both ways? Listen, no shade. But like, it shouldn't be going both ways. There's a lot of, listen, I'm down for just about anything going both ways, but that line shouldn't go both ways.
Interesting.
A line, by definition, should really only go one way. But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and we want to start with this big news. The place to watch the Super Bowl was Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon had the best Super Bowl broadcast in the history of Super Bowl broadcasts. SpongeBob and Friends, if you are not aware of this, hosted the Ding Dang Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, SpongeBob and Patrick were commentating the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon.
It was neat as hell.
Sandy was down in, like, she was like the field reporter.
Hell yeah.
There was so much wild stuff going on. I've got a few clips of it that people were sharing. And here's the thing: I'm only gonna show y'all clips that other people have shared, because Nickelodeon is Viacom, and Viacom is the reason that YouTube is as bad as it is.
Yeah.
So we don't show clean Viacom clips on
So
this
true,
channel.
bestie. It was so weird to look at it and see it be the new animation style of SpongeBob, because SpongeBob is actually no longer on the air.
Right.
We've got that like SpongeBob prequel series, I think.
Yeah, well, it had to be, doing it in 3D made the most sense. Here's Sandy talking about how everybody is dressed up in costumes. She's comparing the refs to Mr. Krabs.
I love it.
Dora the Explorer would come up every time the ref made a call and explain what that meant. So, like, somebody got called for, like, illegal holding, and, like, Dora the Explorer popped up and was like, "Hi, everyone. This is what illegal holding is." Like, it was...
She better have said, "Hola, soy Dora."
Yeah, she probably did.
She better.
It was wild. They were showing fake celebs in the stands. So
Hell yeah.
This is Herring Styles.
Hell yeah.
Right here.
Awesome.
I love it. The only real celebrity they showed was Taylor Swift.
Hell yeah.
The best thing that they
Taylor
showed
Swift
here,
canonically exists in Bikini Bottom.
Here it is. This is what their lower third showed. They were putting like fake little hats on the players. and they didn't show Travis Kelce's name. They said Taylor Swift's boyfriend, good at football. That's his position, is good at football.
This slaps so hard.
It was so good.
I'm shocked that they got permission to do this. Stunned, actually.
Dude, Roboplankton
Yeah.
flew over the field.
Fuck yeah.
They were using the same technology that they used to like put the lines on the field. That like AR technology, and they were adding characters on the field.
Incredible.
It was amazing. It's the best way to watch the Super Bowl. And Saige, this doesn't mean anything to me emotionally, but I'm sure it does to you. Did you see the halftime?
I did. So after all of this time, the Bubble Bowl is canon. Sweet Victory was played at the Super Bowl by SpongeBob. Unbelievable.
Wild.
Unbelievable. One of the greatest performances of all time.
That's
the original.
a bit of a tough choice, I think, if you're watching the Super Bowl live, is like, do I watch this like Usher thing that is like the big deal thing that they've been putting together all year? It's cost millions of dollars. It's going to be an amazing performance. Or do I watch SpongeBob play Sweet Victory?
So here's my question. How long was the clip of Sweet Victory? Did it go through the entire halftime show?
I believe SpongeBob played the entire song.
Now, here's what I will say. In a lot of halftime shows, I would be like, but kids will want to watch. They like musicians, you know? And that's the case. I mean, Taylor Swift has done the Super Bowl. Beyonce has. Rihanna has. Kids don't give a shit about Usher.
No.
No kid was like, oh, I want to see Usher.
No, Usher's been out of it for long enough.
Yeah.
There's no generational, reach between a parent and a kid.
Because here's the thing. Usher was for the moms.
Usher was for sweaty moms.
Usher was for moms and like all millennial women, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That like that want to see Usher grind on the stage a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not for the kids. I get that. In any capacity. Make love in this club.
I would say that no, like content-wise, most Super Bowl halftime performances, if Usher isn't appropriate, most halftime performances aren't appropriate.
When I say not for the kids, I don't mean it's too inappropriate for kids to watch. I mean it's unappealing to kids.
They just don't. It's not something they know what they do. I get that, but Sweet Victory, and here's the other thing about it. Mm-hmm. A performance of Sweet Victory is not the entire length of the halftime show. They did other little goofs and bits.
Yeah.
The Puppy Bowl was never the full length of the halftime show. Mm-hmm. It was always like a chunk of the halftime show because they want to give you that buffer to get back to the big game, baby.
Yeah.
But I think this was such a cool thing for Nickelodeon to do and for the NFL to do. Mm-hmm. It was smart. Everybody I know that's a parent was like, I actually was able to get my kid to pay attention through the Super Bowl. Like, we didn't feel like we needed to have like one of us watching the kids and like entertaining the kids and one of us watching the game.
Yeah.
Like we were able to like sit with them and play the game. And like having Dora pop up to explain the game, having like the commentators explain the game.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's just like, it's such an interesting way to go, ooh, I think kids, like, because we know young people have less and less interest in organized sports.
Right.
Particularly some of the more traditional ones, baseball and football.
And more interest in organized crime.
That's right. As well they should. But baseball and football have been particularly flagging over the last, 10 years.
That's a sports term, right?
Yeah, it's a sports term. They were
flagged the football season.
They were holding and flagging.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh, I know this because it's the big SpongeBob thing every year.
It's interesting because I go through a range of emotions where I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like people got to watch this with their kids. And I do believe that. Mm-hmm. And that is factually true. While I also picture the boardroom meeting where they're talking about how to get literally everyone watching the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And the fact that it's the Super Bowl and the way that we figured out how to do this of well, we could explain it to kids and make this a uniting thing for parents and kids that they can enjoy together was the Super Bowl. And that's very American. And it's not the worst thing about America. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of worse things, but I am damn, if we could make a bunch of things that were getting parents and children together, that'd be cool. And does it have to just be the Super Bowl commercials? Does it have to be where we're just going to be advertised to and makes all the money?
And I don't think it was. I didn't mean to intimate that it was a heartwarming transgenerational thing or anything like that.
No, but there is a layer to it. I have also seen friends that are parents post that are I got to do this with my kid and that was cool. And then I'm just
I think, okay, I will say this. I think the people I know that are parents do a lot with their kids.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the things that they couldn't, and they were glad that they were able to.
This is not a criticism of parents.
No, I don't think it is.
This is us going, well, if we can figure out how to make things interesting and appealing in that way, could we do it for more important things? That's all. How do we get moon landings airing on Nickelodeon with Dora explaining what's going on?
Well, we got to fund moon landings first.
That would be helpful, but not anything. Any kind of NASA launches, right? We've got rovers landing. We've had a lot of rovers in the last.
I think that
could we get kids to pay attention to something that isn't selling something to them? Is my question.
Well, I think. But going back to what I was saying earlier, I think there is a lot of that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the parents that I know do watch things like moon landings and stuff or not moon landings because there hasn't been one.
Yeah.
But rover landings and NASA launches. I think that kind of stuff is easier to make cool for a kid, for a certain kind of kid. I think there is a lot of that stuff. It's a very
specific kind of kid, and it is our friends' kids, but that's not a universal experience.
But what I'm saying is, I think that stuff happens a lot. Mm-hmm. This was more just I think it was a clever marketing thing by the NFL.
Yeah, it's all marketing.
I think this was just kind of an interesting, how do we get attention back? But I think it wasn't just kids. I think there is an entire generation of like millennials, like younger millennials, straight through like a huge chunk of Gen Z that just don't care about this stuff and
Correct.
certainly don't watch it on television.
Yes.
Like we are definitely the generation that goes, I'm going to catch the highlights tomorrow on social media. Like
Of everything.
Yeah. Somebody will tell me what the cool parts were.
Yeah.
And I think I would have watched probably the entire Super Bowl if I had known that Nickelodeon was doing this through the whole Super Bowl.
Yeah, you would have watched the whole thing?
I would have watched at least a good chunk of it, and I don't really watch the Super Bowl.
You don't have cable.
It's fine. I think they showed it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's air of it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think they showed a bunch of it on YouTube. But like, yeah, it was on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
It was on Paramount Plus.
It was streaming live to Paramount Plus.
I would have gotten a trial of Paramount Plus last night to check it out, just to see it.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting. I like it when huge like media things understand where their weaknesses are and come up with like a really interesting way.
Yeah.
Like I think it's hilarious that they let cartoon characters host the.
Yeah.
That probably, like, forget kids. That's the way I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, that's Travis Kelce. That's not Travis Kelce. That's Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Yeah. What position does he play?
Good at football.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I also, not even being a SpongeBob fan, would have been more interested in watching how they staged Sweet Victory than watching Usher.
I still am team. I really just want the highlights. Nothing's going to make me sit through the entire football. But I've enjoyed the highlights.
Yeah, the highlights
but I
are
would
great.
not have gotten the Paramount Plus and done the thing.
No.
I would not have done it.
Whenever I think of Usher, there's only one thing I think of when I think of Usher. I think of the
Usher.
5-second clip of Usher saying "Merry Christmas, Xbox."
Huh, okay.
That's all I
very
think of.
specific.
It's very specific, but like there are a lot of people out there that I think have that brain worm in their head too.
Yeah.
Because it was all over like the Xbox 360 dashboard and like Xbox socials. And it was just this one clip that's like, hey, this is Usher. Merry Christmas, Xbox.
Yeah.
And then it was like, woo. And that thing was everywhere. Did Usher, hey, anybody who watched the football game, did Usher say Merry Christmas, Xbox?
He did not.
You don't know.
I watched the halftime show.
You watched the halftime show?
I watched the halftime show. I
Oh.
always watch the halftime show.
How was it?
He did a pretty good job.
Great.
He was very sweaty.
I heard the sound guy was like not doing his job last
Yeah.
night. But I always think the Super Bowl sounds off.
Here's what I will say. I was trying to watch it not long after it aired, so I did watch it with someone filming their television on the phone, so I couldn't tell if the sound was bad.
I can always tell when the sound on the Super Bowl is bad, or like the Super Bowl halftime show, or Saturday Night Live. When Saturday Night Live has like a musical guest on and they don't know what to do with that musical guest, and the sound guy is just lost. You can always hear it.
Yeah.
Those are like the two things.
I also just want to shout out because we go through and we say thank you to everybody at the end of the show, but Digital Graph's name has been popping up for 10 straight minutes because of gifting 50 subs.
Whoa.
Unbelievable. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll go through again and do shout outs at the end of the show, but goodness. Wow.
Alex, can we get my screen up, please, with audio? Thank you very much. Now this will be in your head forever, too.
Merry Christmas, Xbox. It's Usher, and I hope that Santa got you everything you asked for, including Dance Central 3. I'll see you guys in the new year.
Wow, Dance Central. I forgot about Dance Central. Huh.
Now, there's a cut-down version of this that's just like, this is
Merry
Usher,
Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Xbox.
Merry Christmas, Xbox. This is Usher.
Yeah.
All right. He didn't say that. He did do a medley of all of his songy songs. I loved, in the week leading up to the Super Bowl, all of the people on TikTok that were doing predictions for what his mashup was going to be. I don't know if you were getting those, but I was just getting like girlies in their living room being like, okay. So he's going to come out like this, and this is the song he's going to do first. And
Yeah.
it's been so cute, and they were all better than Usher's actual medley.
Did he do the sexy chair dance?
He didn't. There was no chair.
He didn't do the sexy chair dance?
There was no chair.
I feel like, why show up?
Yeah. There were guests. There was her. Who else came out? There was her, Ludacris, Little John. Those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. He did have roller skates, though.
Oh, good.
He fucking roller skated, and that was
Great.
cool as hell. And then I got another TikTok, which was like, this explains why I saw Usher at a random roller rink in December. And he was just like practicing like a public skate night. You just see a video of Usher just skating around, dancing a little bit.
That's so good.
It's honestly really cute.
Alicia Keys, everybody.
Alicia Keys, thank you. They came out and did My Boo, and it was really, really cute. It was really good.
Infinite Corpse says Little John from Robin Hood. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The canonically gay bear from Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Came out and the canonically gay bear from Robin Hood came out in the 70s, but he also came out onto stage and sang that song, that no.
Yeah.
Usher did that with the gay bear.
Yeah.
And that honestly, they kind of out Nickelodeoned on that one. They
really outdid themselves.
No. When you hear that, do you think Robin Hood or do you think Hamster Dance?
I think Hamster Dance.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of canonically gay, good morning, Alex.
That might be the best cut.
Not a bear.
No,
not a bear.
I didn't say bear.
No.
Not a bear.
But canonically
No.
gay.
No, if we had, that would have been the first time I think somebody would have called Alex a gay bear.
That's not true.
It would have been the only context
No?
acceptable.
No,
Oh?
You've been called a bear before?
I have not. I don't think like realistically, but
Okay.
ironically,
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, did you watch the Super Bowl?
no. I have nothing to say about the Super Bowl.
Are you a SpongeBob person?
And I was not allowed to watch SpongeBob because
Right.
apparently when I was a little kid, I watched a few episodes of SpongeBob and then I said a bad word or I called someone stinky or something in preschool and my mom was like, we can't let Alex watch SpongeBob anymore.
That's so funny.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Because of a word like stinky.
I have no idea what I said.
Because like it couldn't be anything worse than that.
Yeah, what do
You know
they
what I mean?
say?
Like what else would they have said on SpongeBob?
There was that one episode.
The dolphin noises.
I mean, SpongeBob, sure, nothing. I mean, Tom Kenny will say some shit.
That's true.
And he'll say it in the SpongeBob voice if you let him.
That's true. Kids don't see that.
But kids don't see that.
Kids don't see that.
One thing that I don't want to do, and Saige and I talked about this before the show. We don't want to go too much into the Super Bowl ads. We don't want to play into that.
We're not showing commercials for free.
Yeah.
They paid like $10 million to be aired there.
Yeah.
They've gotten enough.
You're good. And oh my God, did you see that they had Ross and Rachel from Friends talking about sandwiches getting delivered? Like,
No, I actually didn't go through and watch any of the commercials
I don't
this
watch
year.
any of them.
Like I remember buying into it and being like, oh, I got to go watch the Super Bowl commercials after the fact before. It's been years since I've done that. Because they get so much extra free advertising after the Super Bowl of people being like, did you watch this commercial? Hey, have you tried Doritos?
Did you
For free?
Did you know they
No.
got back together favorite people from favorite thing in self-aware way to sell you something? No.
Don't advertise to your friends for free, but I do want to talk about two things from the Super Bowl
there are
commercials.
two big things that happened.
One, Temu, which I'm going to keep calling Temu,
Is
aired
it Temu or Temu?
in the commercial. They said Temu.
Yeah, it's Temu.
But previously in advertisements, they've said Temu, so
I
they
feel like
are not
everybody
united
says
on it.
Temu.
In their own advertisements, previously they've said Temu, and now they've said Temu.
Now, Temu, if you're unfamiliar, is like if you think your shit from AliExpress and Shein was just too nice.
Yeah.
Like if it showed up looking too much like the picture,
Right.
you go to Temu.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of money into the Super Bowl. Huh?
Yeah, like if Wish wasn't fun, like
Yeah.
in the beginning, remember when Wish was like, oh, we didn't know how this worked really, and everybody liked to make like jokes about Wish?
Yeah.
That's Temu. And they ran 4 commercials during the Super Bowl. That is an absurd number. That just tells you how much profit margin they're making on these astronomically inexpensive things. So you know that money's certainly not going to things like labor.
Yeah.
Now,
It's probably going to all the lead paint.
it's probably going to all the lead paint that's in your products coming from Temu.
Yeah.
A Super Bowl commercial costs like 10 grand or 10 million.
A Super Bowl commercial costs
Really
upwards
affordable.
of $100.
Yeah, really affordable.
Like-
so yeah, they're about $7 to $10 million for a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
And they ran 4, approximately $40 million
What were the commercials like?
in commercials. I didn't go and watch their commercials. They're nothing.
Yeah.
They're nothing. They're people just advertising, and obviously they're not giving accurate. I've read breakdowns of them because again, I'm not giving them free views on this.
Yeah. I feel like in my head, the Temu commercials they don't have like, it's all like 3D animated product shots and things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like they're not paying for big production. They're probably just paying to be there and have their name said 4 times during the Super Bowl.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely put together proper commercials for it. They made it seem like it is a much nicer platform than it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to look like a YouTube
Right.
pre-roll or something like that that's telling you to like contact a local lawyer about mesothelioma or something.
Yeah, pretty much everyone is saying that they looked AI generated. People don't actually really know what AI generated looks
I'm
like.
Sure
so
it was
I don't
a
know.
lot of stock footage
Yeah.
with shots of Temu green screened onto phones.
Basically,
and stuff like that.
yeah. It was a lot of like, it was all like animated essentially.
Yeah.
So they spent $40 million on that. And the takeaway for a lot of people is, hey, you have to call your parents and tell them not to buy things from Temu. Because the amount of people that will have seen these ads, the amount of boomers that are going to be like, 39 cents for a headband.
Kids, find a time to talk to your parents about Temu. It's time. I know it's a tough conversation to have, but it's your job. It's your responsibility. Your parents look to you to tell them how to navigate life. You need to sit down with your parents and tell them not to buy things off of Temu. Go to keepyourparentsoffofTemu.org for resources that you can have, scripts that you can use to talk to your parents. It's awkward. It can be very awkward.
Let me go ahead and buy that domain really quick.
But they need our help.
Yeah.
They look to us to reset the settings on their television and to keep them from buying things on Temu.
Yeah. 100% seriously, there's going to be so many people that did not know of the horrors of Temu that are going to be all over it now. For some reason, one of them people are reacting to in the chat, and I had to look it up, which is, we got to see it.
Oh yeah, there were churches. There were there were religious commercials.
No, this is still Temu.
Oh, this is still Temu? I thought we were skipping to the religion thing.
I think so. Are we not? Is this a religion thing? Okay, never mind. So apparently it's all about washing feet, and it is just a religious commercial. That's what everyone was reacting to.
Yeah, this is if you've seen the He Gets Us thing, the He Gets Us campaign has been going through TV, through online ads, stuff like that, and now it's on the Super Bowl. But He Gets Us is the ad that's trying to make Jesus cool to the kids.
These are AI generated images for sure, though, right? Like those aren't real people.
Those could be I think those are real photographs. Those are studio
I don't think
photos.
the locations are real. The locations definitely aren't real.
No, they're blue. They're green screened onto it, like they're composited onto it. But those are real. Those are real. I mean, at least the people are real.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
know?
saying. Is I think the people are, but I don't think the backgrounds are.
I don't know. Who knows? It's weird.
It just looks.
It's just badly composited.
Yeah, it could just be bad compositing, but it's like really bad.
Yeah. I think they could be. All of this looks like.
And we do have some
Late
blur
90s
of faces in the background.
Yeah, all this looks like late 90s, early 2000s Photoshop compositing. It's not necessarily AI. Like this is a very old school ad style. It's very, very weird though.
Okay. Yeah, that's wow.
So
That's
Jeff,
wow.
Jeff
Yeah,
Kanata,
that's wow.
my dear friend and co-host on the science podcast that I do, We Have Concerns, tweeted something yesterday which was like, hey, Super Bowl ads are pretty expensive. If churches and religions have the money to buy Super Bowl ads, maybe it's time we start taxing churches and religions.
Yeah, maybe if they have a marketing budget, we should probably stop considering them exempt from taxes.
Yeah, it seems like it's time, if you have extra money in the coffers for a Super Bowl ad. And previously we've talked about this, how heads of churches are taking private jets places, have cars that are like owned by the church, like a lot of this stuff. Not every organization, but a lot of religious organizations in the United States. Any religion that also is an LLC. But this feels particularly egregious. And there have been religious commercials before. I remember when I was in high school, very late 90s into like early 2000s. So like high school into college for me, there was like There were Mormon commercials. There was like look up the Church of Latter-day Saints if you have, And
Oh,
of course, Dianetics, like the L. Ron Hubbard
There's still
Scientology.
a ton of religious commercials. You get them as pre-rolls on YouTube. They're all over the place still.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch much broadcast TV, so I don't know how much there is on
I get them
TV.
a lot on YouTube.
Yeah, pre-rolls, like, for sure.
But again, I don't think churches should have marketing budgets. Now, this actually wasn't by a church, this particular ad, the Jesus was a foot guy ad.
Yeah.
This ad was actually by a Christian lobbying group.
Yeah, this is the He Gets Us.
Yeah. So He Gets Us is a Christian lobbying group that is also founded by the owners of Hobby Lobby, who are notorious bigots. We don't support Hobby Lobby in this house. So they also are just an organization that is absolutely for profit and discrimination. Yeah. But there were actual like religious organizations and churches as well.
And a lot of those organizations do give to that lobby because they but yes, if there's lobbying and money in religion are definitely two very huge issues here in the United States, and feels weird. Feels weird to have it during the Super Bowl.
Illegal.
Feels weird, particularly to have it during the Super Bowl.
It should be so illegal for churches to advertise like that.
Yeah.
Churches shouldn't be able to have commercials. None of it. Absolutely none of it.
It's very strange.
It's so fucking weird. There's
strange.
one last commercial thing that we have to talk about.
Sure.
And that is plagiarism in Super Bowl commercials. So there was this Cetaphil commercial that aired that had people tearing up. They loved it. It was so beautiful. It was such a lovely story. It just felt so real to people. A story specifically of a white father and his black daughter connecting and experiencing the Super Bowl over Taylor Swift.
Yeah, the ad was called "A New Sports Tradition for Dads and Daughters," and it features it has the daughter looking at her phone while her father watches the sports on television, and they can't get each other to watch the things, and then they come together. Yeah, they come together for the T Swift, and it's a beautiful moment for the two of them, and it really was just a lovely ad seeing this. What's the problem with it? It seems beautiful.
Oh, well, the problem is there are two real people that this is clearly based on TikTok, that they even dressed similarly, hired actors that look at least fit, kind of, especially like the profile of the dad
if you
is
look
ridiculous.
On my screen, I got it up right now. On the left, you have the real video, and on the right, you have the actors that they hired. Yeah. And this dude...
absurd. Absolutely ridiculous. So the TikTok account in question has been sharing videos of how Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship had brought them together to watch football together, and they had like become the football fans through watching this together. And like there's a bunch of clips of her like doing her makeup and her dad like catching her up, like, oh, okay, so this is going on with them, and we saw this today in the game. Yeah. And the TikTok account is Sharavina, and that's with 3 A's, and they've been sharing this for months.
It's with 3 A's, but we're not going to tell you where. Could be anywhere. There's at least 3 A's
Sharavina.
in it. There's at least 3 A's, could be more.
So they posted a video being like, that's us.
Yeah.
Hey, Cetaphil, that's us.
You just totally took our lives and made it into a commercial.
Like, you didn't just take someone's TikTok. That's their actual lives. Like, it's not like they were like, oh, we saw a funny sketch on TikTok.
Yeah,
and we redid the sketch.
Don't do that either.
That would
Saturday
be bad.
Night Live.
So, like, that would be bad, and it's so much worse because this is real people's real lives.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers.
And they were not reached out to. They were not compensated, obviously. Like, you could have gotten these two actual people.
Dude, for the amount of money that you're paying for these commercials, you could have said, we think your story is lovely. And honestly, the money that you would have had to pay them just to say like, hey, we want to kind of do a dramatization of your story would have been so small compared to the $10 million you paid just to air the commercial. That's not the production costs of the commercial.
Correct.
The fact that companies on every level are just trying to get out of paying the tiniest slivers of money
Yeah.
to people that really come up with everything for them. Now, we don't know if this was somebody within a creative agency that saw this and ripped it off.
Yeah.
We don't know if Cetaphil saw it and said, let's do a commercial that's just this. We don't know who did it.
Yeah.
But we do know that it went all the way up the chain and got all the way onto television.
Now, they do say at the end of this ad, it's like real fathers and real daughters. And then they say like that supposedly this is a real father and daughter living in New York. Now,
By the way, when you see that in commercials, they don't have to be telling the truth.
yeah.
They very
can just
often are
lie
not.
to you.
Yeah.
And I bet they are. I don't know. I'm just saying nobody's talked about who these people are yet.
Yeah.
I bet they're lying. Because of the way they put it too. Real father and daughter living in New York. I mean, they're not saying it's her father.
No.
They're not saying she's his daughter.
No.
Maybe they do both live in New York.
Sure. But they don't even have to be telling the truth about that.
No.
The living in New York is kind of like, that's the, in police interrogation or in like detective work,
Yeah.
that's like the part that they add that's
Yeah.
too much information, and you go, oh, you're overdoing it.
Oh, yeah.
You could have just said that this is an actual father and daughter.
Yeah.
The comma living in New York is like, oh, no, they're real. They live in New York. They drive a Prius. What? Why did you add that? You didn't need to say that they live in New York and drive a Prius.
Yeah,
That
that's
has
too many
nothing to do-
details.
No, they drive a Prius. Their favorite color is yellow.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
I was just asking if these are real people.
They have a dog.
Yeah, it's very sad, the dog, 3 legs. What?
They got him a little like wheelie thing.
Like what?
So they posted a video talking about this, and it's really, really sweet. Her and her stepdad are sitting there, and he is putting on his little eye masks, and they're doing the same thing too because it's a skincare commercial. So one of the
Yeah.
things that is in addition to that being like a father and daughter that watch for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, they do skincare while they do it.
Yeah.
So like she does her little skincare routine and she puts like little eye masks on her stepdad. That's what these videos were.
Yeah.
And this is a skincare commercial, mind you. Cetaphil is skincare.
Yeah, I saw her account is a lot of
Crazy.
like, she tells stories and talks about things while she's doing her routine.
Yeah.
It's like,
And she puts her little eye masks on her dad, and it's cute. And then in this video, he's like, my daughter made that and you stole that. My daughter made the content that you stole. And he was like, I know how Swifties are, and I know that you guys can do something about this. And like called upon the Swifties.
you don't listen. Listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. That is a power that you don't understand.
I don't know, man. I'm for it.
You think you want to wield that power, but you have to be very careful when you
Hey.
wield that power.
How often do we wield this power for something like, hey, massive marketing corporation, you can't steal content from a black woman on the internet.
No, but
and
listen
be
to
like,
me.
isn't this a sweet, heartwarming idea? Get them, Swifties, do it.
No, but listen,
Yeah.
listen. We've called on the Swifties for good causes before, and here's the problem.
They do fuck it up.
They descend like locusts. They truly do. They will do the thing that you ask, but
Yeah.
it is like asking a genie for something.
Yeah.
It is like asking a
There's a
sorcerer.
catch.
Yeah, you've gone to the woman in the wood.
Yeah.
And you've said, "Woman in the wood, I just want this man to love me."
I'm in. I'm in.
It could backfire.
I'm in.
It could backfire. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I hope that father has never even jaywalked in his life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I hope that father has never even accidentally opened somebody else's mail in his life.
Yeah.
Because once you set them on attack, it is hard to calm them down, and they will turn on their masters.
I don't
They
know.
truly will, the Swifties.
I don't know.
You have to be very careful. Saige has a whole drawer full of monkey paws, says Flying Squirrel. The fingers just keep curling.
Yeah.
One more thing about the Super Bowl is, of course, big trailers. Big trailers during the Super Bowl. There were a couple that stood out to us. I think the two that really stood out to us were probably Wicked
Yeah.
and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think those were the two big ones. Deadpool and Wolverine, just to start it off, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Not shocked. I don't
Yeah.
want to say that, but like, certain Marvel movies come out and you're like, I'm going to like this one, but this one isn't specifically like laser targeted at me.
Yeah.
And usually like Deadpool is not laser targeted at me. And I would still say there was a lot of stuff in this trailer that was not my usual taste. They somehow took the stuff that I dislike about Deadpool and made it like a very interesting kind of like wrinkle in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well, it finally feels like Deadpool is actually being incorporated in, which is really cool. I was talking about this before the show, but I feel like with Deadpool, I always enjoy the Deadpool movies, but I don't enjoy thinking about Deadpool. If I try to remember a Deadpool movie from memory, I'm like, ugh, Deadpool, right?
Sure.
And there's no, I mean, look, there's like certain levels of the humor that's true about, but like I do enjoy them. They're fun movies. I like the Deadpool movies.
Yeah. And
they're not my favorite. That's not my like brand of humor or Marvel content, but like they're fun.
Yeah.
I like them. But when I try to, from memory, picture a Deadpool movie, I'm like, ick.
Sure. I 100% get that. I think a lot of it has to do with the fandom and the culture around Deadpool.
Probably,
a lot of some of that other stuff. But this to me, like some of the stuff that particularly I was worried about in terms of Deadpool's character and coming into the MCU. The things where it's like, do I want in the MCU somebody who turns towards the screen and says something to me directly? Do I want somebody who's breaking the fourth wall? And I think we knew that they were at least going to use the multiverse to explain that.
Yeah.
But they go heavy into the TVA.
Right. Which I love.
They go heavy into the TVA, which is amazing because the TVA is an organization that makes it so when he tells those self-aware jokes, he's saying it to other people that have the level of understanding that he does.
Yeah.
Right? When Deadpool says, like, there's a part in this where he's like, I'm here to save you. I'm your Marvel Jesus. The guy from Succession, who is now in the TVA, goes, and it's like, Deadpool is doing these jokes to people who understand these jokes.
Yeah.
It no longer is, it's still going to be anachronistic for the actual Marvel characters.
Right.
But to the TVA, he's just talking and they are understanding. And it makes it work in the MCU in a way that I find very interesting.
I like it. It's a good trailer.
Yeah. We don't see a lot.
Yeah.
We don't see any really of Wolverine.
Right.
We see
the back of his head.
Yeah, we see a little Wolverine back of his head, and we see a little shadow at the end. But we do know, like, the movie is called Deadpool and Wolverine.
This might be a dumb question that I've just totally missed. Who's playing Wolverine?
Hugh Jackman. The guy who plays Wolverine.
I know that's Hugh Jackman, but like
the Australian guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, from The Greatest Showman?
From Australia. Yeah. The Baz Luhrmann movie Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Greatest Showman. Yeah.
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron is Wolverine. Yeah. Yeah, it's Hugh Jackman. He
just wants to sing, and everyone keeps making him play basketball. Poor Hugh Jackman.
What if Hugh Jackman do a sing in this movie? What if Wolverine do a sing?
Sure. I'm in. I ask because, okay, see, thank you. I'm not the only person who was like, he's still doing it? Like, Hugh Jackman's back?
So we
thought he was done. We had an ending for him.
They did do, they've done a couple clips with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman talking about the movie. Okay. And they have released photos previously.
Yeah, I've not been paying attention.
We did cover the photo on the show, but it may have just Deadpooled its way out of your head.
Probably.
But the whole big deal was it was Hugh Jackman. It's Hugh Jackman in like the 90s yellow and blue.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, okay.
So we do know that it's Hugh Jackman. We've known for a little while, but we didn't know how much Wolverine was in the movie.
That's the thing, is when you say it's like, oh, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, then I'm surprised it's Hugh Jackman and not a cameo from Hugh Jackman.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, sounds like we're getting Wolverine.
Yeah, I was fully prepared for them to hype this up for like a 5-minute scene in the movie.
Yeah.
This movie is a buddy movie between the two of them. They're best friends in real life, basically. Like, they're really good friends in real life. they did. Somebody was like, "Oh, they did say they're not touching Logan." Like everybody, like you've been saying,
Yeah.
didn't we get an ending?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the Time Variance Authority. We're talking about a variant of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Probably. We're talking about the yellow and blue
Right.
Wolverine. This is not a Wolverine that was in the movies. This is not a Wolverine that we have seen before. This is a Wolverine from a different timeline.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about this movie is they're bringing Deadpool in a way where he can't possibly fuck up anything in the MCU.
Yeah. And I'm not mad at, even though I'm like, oh, we did get an ending. I don't mean that as like, well, don't bring him back. I love this. I'm very into it. I'm just surprised. And that's a good surprise. I think that's neat.
Yeah, and I think the one of the strong parts of the second Deadpool movie was the contrast between Josh Brolin's performance and Josh Brolin's Cable,
Yeah.
and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and we're definitely going to get more of that with Wolverine. Like it's fun when he has, it's a comedy duo. It's fun when he has like the straight man to bounce something off of,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed this trailer. And I keep using the word shocked, and I feel like I shouldn't, but I am.
We have the release date, which is July 26th this year, which will come up faster than you're prepared for it to. As with all dates.
Do you think this is the end of this is the last Deadpool?
Yeah, probably. I can't imagine doing 4 Deadpool movies.
Because I don't think the TVA lasts beyond Phase 5.
I agree. And I'm just thinking through of like who's gotten 4 movies, and it's like what, Thor?
Iron Man? No. Iron Man didn't get a 4.
There's just a lot of Iron Man.
There's just a lot
elsewhere.
of Iron Man and everything. Like
Has only Thor gotten 4 movies?
I believe so.
And even then,
4 for
like
Thor.
2 of them don't count.
Yeah, 4 for Thor is what they say.
One of them definitely doesn't, but like 2 of them don't count.
Yeah, I think they're bringing in Deadpool for some sort of big finale.
Yeah.
But I don't think Deadpool fits into the future MCU. Like I could see, like maybe they'll do it. Deadpool is so popular, they're gonna try to find a way.
I see him popping up in other movies, so I don't think it is the complete end of Deadpool.
Right.
But I do think it is the last Deadpool movie.
I think that's fair. I think it's kind of like a Hulk situation.
Yeah.
Where they figured out that like, oh, a Hulk movie isn't as interesting as Hulk being around.
Yeah.
Deadpool, and also once you do 3 Deadpool movies, I feel like you've done the bit. Even in the second one, like the second one with like the James Bond opening and all that, like I feel like you've done the bit. And I feel like even Ryan Reynolds feels like they've done the bit.
Right.
But coming back as a side character who kind of like winks at the camera every once in a while is wonderful.
All in,
Yeah.
all for it. I want to read a couple of things from chat that I've loved as we've been talking about this, which is a bit of a scroll because the chat is active.
Yeah.
Sarah in the live studio audience said, listen,
Never heard of her.
Never heard of them. Listen, I'm always down to sexualize that old man. I just hope that they let him be kind of muscly. He was the original, like he was in the original X-Men. Don't make him the Marvel workout treatment,
Oh, you mean don't give him the Marvel bod.
Yeah, don't give him the Marvel bod. I'm for it.
Like when Paul Rudd takes off his shirt,
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, is this attractive or is it unnatural in some way?
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like
And I'm also down to sexualize that old man.
Kumail Nanjiani with an 8-pack.
Yeah, that's not right.
It was like weird, right?
It's
It was
not
like
right.
a little weird.
It's not right.
No, I would like him to have the more early 2000s original superhero bod too. Hugh Jackman keeps it tight.
Yeah.
I think he keeps it tight enough to where he wouldn't have to train too much.
Yeah.
And he'll probably have the costume on most of the time. I think this is also going to be the end of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine for sure.
Yeah. I also, though, like, we've never revisited the kid that we set up in Logan. And
yeah.
I'm like,
The X-23 sort of...
where's she at?
Well, it depends on what Marvel wants to do with the X-Men.
I know.
I've always enjoyed X-23.
Yeah, but I'm like, she was fucking great. That was awesome. And like, we can let Hugh Jackman rest and maybe just have X-23.
Well, because I thought about what they're going to do in terms of, are they going to do with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine what they did with Leonard Nimoy in the Star Trek movie? a thing where it's like, I'm still here and I still exist if you ever need me. Don't worry. Your nostalgia wasn't misplaced, you know, and then whoever plays the new Wolverine doesn't have to worry about it.
Right.
Like, are they going to try to use that to smooth it over? But I think Wolverine, I would like to see him go out in a blaze of glory in this one.
Yeah, I don't think that we need another Wolverine. I think that having X-23 is the solution and that we still have a Wolverine character, but we don't have somebody that is like right away trying to be the same character. It's not a recast.
Right. Well, here's what I'm going to I don't disagree. I like X-23, and I definitely think as she grew into all new Wolverine, she was a much more interesting character. Just because, you know, Logan's been around since the '60s, and he's been retconned and reconned and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think this right now, with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, Marvel has an issue where we are getting into a point in Phase 5 where there are more characters that people don't recognize than characters they do recognize. And I think for Marvel, even if you're going to bring in an X-23, the smartest, strongest thing you can do right now is bring in a classic X-Men lineup.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all of the original X-Men. You
Yeah.
don't have to do the OG team.
So you think it needs a Logan?
I think Logan is one of your biggest draws. I think you could though right now get the same amount of hype without the baggage of being compared to Hugh Jackman with Gambit. A good Gambit.
Yes.
A good Gambit, and you don't need a new Wolverine for a few years.
Yes.
You can let people forget about Hugh Jackman, or not forget, but you can let people get ready for a new Wolverine.
Right.
But you definitely need, I mean, look, you need a Jean Grey.
Yeah.
You need a Storm for sure.
Rogue.
You need a Rogue. If you have a Gambit, you definitely need a Rogue.
In my opinion, you need a Rogue more.
We did see evil Hank McCoy.
Yeah.
There is an evil live action Kelsey Grammer Hank McCoy out there. So Beast could come. That could be a Beast, but we could also get a young Beast.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Bobby Drake.
Yeah.
I would love to see like a new Iceman.
Yeah. We're getting it a little more on the outskirts of things that would be a big draw.
But even without like big draw, just a memorable. Because here's the thing: Hulk, Iron Man, Thor. These were not popular Marvel characters at the time, but they were recognizable.
Yeah.
Like my mom knew who Thor and Hulk and Iron Man were. My mom knows who Iceman is. You know,
interesting. My mom wouldn't.
I think my mom knows who Iceman is just because he was in so many of the cartoons when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, but they're recognizable to people.
But I'm thinking, is that recognizable to current teenagers?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't.
Particularly like the new current version of Bobby Drake is a very big deal.
Yeah.
Just because they finally let let Bobby Drake be openly gay.
Yeah.
And the Iceman stories and comics have been like a huge deal for the last like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And also you're right on that edge now where the people who were the excited 20-somethings or teenagers when the first phase of Marvel movies came out are now the parents, and they had the X-Men 90s cartoon series.
Yeah.
And that's a big Iceman cartoon.
Yeah.
So I think if you can stick to the 90s cartoon lineup, you will have a very strong pull for Marvel.
Yeah.
In a way that, you know, some of the characters that are exciting for huge, deep nerd comic fans like me, like Spectrum, like Monica, you know, that are not as immediately recognizable to people outside of the comics.
Yeah.
People know the X-Men.
Yes.
And even if they don't know the 90s cartoons, they know the 2000s movies because they were so big.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see like...
This makes me want to rewatch the X-Men movies.
I'll tell you
For
what.
all of its highs and lows. I love the X-Men movies.
The first one is pretty... It's not bad. It's just not super exciting.
Yeah.
It's very like by the book at this point. The second one I think is still a very strong movie.
Yeah.
That opening with Nightcrawler in the White House, Just seeing Nightcrawler, dude. I want Nightcrawler. Bring me Kurt.
Ooh, yeah.
Bring me a new live action Kurt.
Yeah. Huh.
I think this is a cool way to say goodbye to two big Marvel characters and open things up for some new stuff to happen.
Agreed. Hey.
Yeah.
That's not the only big trailer we got.
No, we also got the other huge pop culture cinematic universe.
Another massive duo.
This is name a more iconic duo. I dare you.
We're waiting. No more iconic duo than Glinda and Elphaba. And originally, Galinda, if you've seen Wicked.
Yep.
We got the first trailer for Wicked. Now, I'm so curious how people are going to respond to this because of the Ariana Grande controversy surrounding Wicked. I love Wicked.
You are definitely
a Wicked girly.
Yeah.
And I need you all not to fuck this up for me over people's personal lives. I'm so sorry. I don't care. I'm so sorry. And I know
Wicked is bigger than us.
it's just like
bigger than us.
just don't know these people. You know what I mean? Like I just don't know these people and I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I've been so much more offended by other things Ariana Grande has done, like various like racial appropriation.
Yeah.
Like we can be mad about those. And we can be mad about whatever you want, but I don't care and I want to enjoy Wicked. Okay? And I want it to be good and I hope that it's good and I don't care about Ariana Grande and SpongeBob. It is simply just I don't care.
Honestly, there's a lot of stuff where people are forgetting. There are things that yes, you don't want people to be working with other people because they are unsafe. There are those general situations where it's like, hey, you need to know this about this person. This needs to come to light.
Yeah.
What happens in people's like romantic relationships?
If it is not
abusive,
right.
if it is not, you know what I mean? If it's just like,
None,
hey man,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's literally it's not my thing.
I don't want to know.
That's for them.
Yeah.
That's for them and their counselors
I
to
will
figure out.
never have the context or nuance to ever need to know that about a celebrity.
I couldn't possibly know what was going on in anyone's marriage.
I couldn't possibly.
I don't even know what was going on in my own marriage.
Right.
That's why I'm not married anymore. Marriages are inscrutable.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're totally inscrutable. I'm supposed to know what's going on with SpongeBob's marriage? Come on.
And that's why everybody.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I do think it's the sort of thing where you can't. Why? You can't hold that against people.
Yeah.
You can't. Musical theater people and Disney Channel people are weird fandoms like that, and this is the crossover of those fandoms.
Yeah.
And it's a weird place.
I have no interest in being up in their business.
Nope.
So I already see in the chat some people are upset that it is a 2-part movie.
Well, first let's chat about this. Wicked.
Yeah.
Book or musical? What are you more into?
I'm a musical girl.
You're a musical girly.
Yeah.
Okay. You know me. I'm not a super big musical guy. I think the musical is great.
Yes.
And I do think some of the changes that the musical made are like very cool and it like make the plot work a little better.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of stuff in the book that was like super interesting that they didn't get into, but I think they're both good.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if we're just going off of the musical, right? And we're not talking about the 2 parts of the book originally. And we're just talking about the musical. The musical is performed in 2 acts, motherfucker.
Yeah, musicals
it's a musical.
are long.
Musicals are long as hell. And literally you go to intermission and you come back and it has like been some time and it is a completely different second act of the play.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense to me that I was so worried about them trying to cram that entire musical into one movie, it would have ruined it because there's a bunch of stuff that with 2 movies you can actually have the time to get into. Like we're dealing with all of the things with like the animal folk and people like that. Maybe there's a little more exploration of that or just time to touch on it in general because you wouldn't have had time.
It matters. It's very tough with musical with musical film like you're saying is musicals are always just a little too long to be one movie comfortably. Yeah. And it's always an issue of, oh, they cut that number that I really like, or we didn't get that character's like story as much. This is gonna make a bazillion dollars. Yeah. They can comfortably say we can release this in 2 parts. It's safe to do it. Yeah. Why wouldn't we just make the whole thing?
A Kodoroku said, I feel like doing 2 movies based on a 20-plus-year-old musical is a bold move. It's still, right now, one of the most popular musicals in the world.
It's still running.
If you ask anybody to name one song from a musical, there's probably a 70% chance they're going to say a song from Wicked if they're not a musical theater fan. If they're not somebody that's trying to impress you by knowing a niche musical, they're going to say popular or Defying Gravity. This
is still like
I saw it last month.
Yeah, kids are still like auditioning with this in theater programs. All like if you are somebody who watches kids audition, I'm sure you are so tired of hearing popular.
Yeah,
like it's one of those, because this is one of those musicals where it's like, listen, baby, it's like Phantom. It's like Cats. Yeah. It's like this thing has been running forever.
Right.
And if this was a 2-decade-old musical that wasn't still selling out most nights, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right.
I saw it in Edinburgh in December in a sold-out theater.
Humble brag.
A full giant theater, absolutely sold out. Like on a local production of it, basically. Like Wicked is so big. And in addition, it's not just musical theater fans, because it's The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's also The Wizard of Oz. So like it's not just a 30-year-old musical, it's The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, this is a big pop culture thing. 2
movies in the Wizard of Oz universe.
Yeah, this isn't just like some...
It makes so much sense to me.
This isn't just some musical that's like, this was a popular musical. This is a property that everybody knows.
Yeah.
That everybody is a huge multi-generational thing.
Yeah.
I've got some of the visuals up here. It's a musical. I kind of want to play some audio, but at the same time...
We shouldn't.
I'm so worried.
So here's the thing.
I'll show some of this if you want to pull up my screen.
I'd say the teaser doesn't give us a ton. It gives us a little bit. We get to see some of the design for it, and as somebody who is a big enough Wicked nerd,
none of that is happening.
But that's okay with me. That's okay with me because it's Oz, I guess. So far, it's okay with me. We'll see.
Jeff Goldblum, baby.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, the great and powerful. That's fun.
That's really good casting.
That's fun. That's a good
really
draw.
Good casting.
That's a good draw.
It's good casting. I think it's a good trailer. It's a teaser. It's a teaser.
It's a very good teaser. Even if you're not super into Wicked, it would be hard to watch that teaser, I think, and not go, wow, that looks fun. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Like, that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know, it also like leans so into just how big Wednesday was. Like I think about it like fantasy boarding school and all the weird stuff that's happening at fantasy boarding school.
Interesting.
Like it's just so, I don't think it looks like Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think it's just another cultural touchstone that is only going to help it be interesting to people. I think it looks good, man. Yeah. I think it looks good.
I think so too.
I don't know anything about Ariana Grande except that she licked that donut
when she was a child.
It was rude of her to lick that donut.
I don't care. All right, let's speed run a couple of things that we teased in the intro so that we follow through on it.
Sure.
You said FTC things.
Yeah. It turns out that we're going to switch over to some video game stuff here.
Yeah.
It turns out that the FTC is pretty mad at Microsoft about all those Activision Blizzard layoffs.
Yeah, because it's almost like they were like, we promise it's going to be okay and consolidation's not a bad thing. We're going to buy this company and everything's going to be good and you're going to love it.
Well, not just that. They said, in addition to all of those reassurances, they said Activision Blizzard and Microsoft will run autonomously. They will both run basically on their own.
Right.
And then Microsoft came in and said, yo, can you ditch like 800 to 900 employees right now because we said so?
Yeah.
And so the FTC is like, we told you. We said
you can't do that.
Like, we told you this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So the FTC is still trying to, there are members in the FTC that are still trying to reverse this deal, even though it's already gone through.
Crazy.
There are members, there are people in the EU and the UK that are still trying to reverse this deal because it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is a huge, huge thing. So the FTC filed an appeal in December and is still trying to make this go away. It's looking for the court to pause the finality of the merger so it can complete its in-house trial. That's a major challenge, but at the same time, like, they have undone things like this before.
Yeah.
Whole Foods tried to acquire Wild Oats Marketplace. And they were like, yo, you can't do this. You would have a monopoly on this sort of like organic food market. And then it doesn't matter because 20 years later, it's all part of Amazon. But they did it. They did it before. And they can do it again. And I hope they do, in all honesty, because this is just going to get worse and worse. Speaking of which, things are not super chill inside of Microsoft right now after all of these layoffs. Surprise, surprise.
You mean after you laid off 1,900 people?
Yeah, it's so weird.
It wasn't a sign of things being good?
After the 1,900 people were gone, it turns out employees are a little
shaken up by it?
A little shook.
A little shaken up by everyone that they've ever known getting fired?
Yeah.
Do you think that they don't feel secure in their positions anymore?
Well, especially after the 1,900 layoffs, Microsoft goes ahead and says, hey, Starfield's multi-platform, Hi-Fi Rush is multi-platform, Indiana Jones is multi-platform.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer had to, reportedly, he had to tell employees that Microsoft is going to continue to make consoles. He had to tell employees of Xbox, don't worry,
we're still going to make Xbox.
Isn't going away.
I can see why they would be worried about that. They're like, hey, you're laying off a lot of people that make things for Xbox and then also giving away any exclusives, which again, we talked about. And we have our opinions on the like exclusivity of it all, but I could see why that would be worrying. Is it like, oh, are you letting all of this go because we're not going to make Xboxes anymore?
Right. And if you're an employee at one of the studios, I mean, obviously you're not, there's no security in that at all. We've seen with all the layoffs. Yeah. But if you're an employee at the Xbox hardware team, services team, you know, any of these internal teams that make the Xbox run.
Yeah.
Like, we can all see it a mile away. We've been saying it for years. Phil doesn't want to make consoles.
No. But he promises he's going to keep making consoles for now.
Yeah. Because the employees are like, are you going to fire us? He's no. Well, you said that to everybody at Activision Blizzard. Yeah.
And that was... I didn't want to.
That was tough.
And we didn't want to have to.
I meant to not. And then I did because I had to, but I didn't want to.
I hated it.
Oh, it was awful. But let me tell you something. One of the worst days of my life.
Yeah.
I hate when CEOs say that.
Oh, I hate it.
When they're like,
this is harder for me than it is for you.
We laid off 1,900 people. It's the toughest day of my life. Yeah, it was so very tough for you. This is really tough. Oh. Was it tough for you all the way back home to your house?
Yeah.
Was it tough for you all the way back home to your house in your car with your family that's taken care of? Was it tough?
Yeah.
When your stock value jumped?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard for you.
You do own all that stock, so you sure do win a lot when the stock value goes up.
What a shame. Yeah, so fuck that.
Yeah.
So this is all very weird and bad stuff, and we've got to stop letting these mergers happen. Not just in gaming, but everywhere.
Yeah.
These mergers have to stop.
Corporate consolidation is bad.
It's harder and harder, like more and more when people are like, what do I like? I had one of my like little nieces just was like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what to do and like where to get a job and blah blah blah. I was like, if you can, just find some place that isn't a corporation that's publicly traded. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your job is. You know, just find somewhere to work 20 hours a week that isn't a publicly traded corporation.
Yeah.
Just so you know your boss and your boss knows you.
Right. It's hard because we're seeing the very real effects of corporate consolidation with these layoffs, because it's not just, well, corporate consolidation creates the layoffs. It creates a bunch of people that have lost their job, 1,900 people that are now looking around and going, well, this same company that I just got laid off from owns most of the other places that I could potentially go to work. And as these companies get, you know, more and more and more combined, you're going to have a situation where when you get laid off from a company, there's nowhere to fucking go.
Yeah. And even these companies, one division will lay off while another division hires. And something companies do not do is they will not try to move talent from one division to another, even though there are vacancies.
Yeah.
They do not make that best effort. They will just fire you and be like,
well, yeah, I mean, you can reapply over there.
You can literally reapply. They'll be like, oh, it looks like you worked for us over there. Great.
Yeah.
One big happy family. Welcome back. Dude, why did you make me do that for a month and a half?
Yeah. And not to
mention, how
mention,
much money did you save by me not working for 6 weeks?
Right.
When you had this vacant thing where somebody could have been doing work for 6 weeks, that project is 6 weeks behind. Help me do the math.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have just moved me over there?
Because that takes caring about people and just thinking about people. That means somebody in some position of management has to manage and think about the people that they're managing. A manager's job is literally only taking care of their team. And we can't actually get anyone in these massive corporations to do that. They will do anything. They will go to any length to not think about these people.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you've just been laid off from one of those corporations, you probably don't want to go work on another one of their teams.
No.
You might be in a position where you have to, but a lot of the time you're like, hey, you fucking fired me out of nowhere at Christmas. Maybe I don't want to work for you and make you fucking money again. And maybe I wouldn't feel secure in that.
What's going to stop you from firing me from this division next Christmas?
Correct.
What
You might not trust them.
What guarantee do I have as an employee anymore? And the answer is none.
None. Absolutely none.
Which is a bummer. Look, it's moving on from speaking about the big bummers to speaking about a teensy bummer.
Small bummers.
A small bummer.
Ooh, we should make that a segment on the show. Small bummers.
Small bummers.
Yeah.
These large corporations, at the end of the day, are supposedly making video games.
Yeah.
One of them is Skull and Bones, which they keep saying is a game. They've been saying it for 7 years, and they had an open beta this weekend.
Yes.
Hands-on impressions have come back in.
Yes.
And, I read the impressions, Saige, and I went, oh.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's supposed to be actually launching February 16th. They say that it is not done yet, which is concerning. And they do say that any progress that you make in the open beta will carry over. Now,
at this point, it's not concerning. It's comforting.
Yeah.
I fear change.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to live in a world where Skull and Bones is a finished game.
Yeah. Well,
do you know what I mean?
Then it's a great day for you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Now, people aren't giving this a bad review, but people are saying that it's not the game that they were expecting after all of this time.
Pirate game, right?
Well, yes.
I get on pirate ship, fight pirates?
Mostly crafting and resource management, actually.
Like a pirate.
Yeah. I mean, if you enjoy Sea of Thieves, that the resource management is a small part of it.
But when
Like
I think
picking
about
up
what I want
bananas.
to do as a pirate,
Yeah.
when they sing "The Pirate's Life" for me, when people leave the shackles of society and run off to live the pirate's life, they think of crafting and spreadsheets and resource management.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh, I yearn to leave my job here in the office, working for the city, and I yearn to get on a pirate ship and do the same thing."
Yeah. People say that it is, this article from Kotaku, this was written by Zach Zuian, says that it is a very comparable gameplay loop to Division.
Oof.
They say that if you've played it, you will be very, very familiar with this.
I don't want to play the Division but pirates. I want to play pirates.
Yeah. Essentially, there are quests, there are public hubs because it is which like I love it being an MMO. I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested in a pirate MMO. There are safe zones that you can interact with other players in, and then there are like quests that you go out and do. A lot of time though is also spent on foot, on islands, chopping wood.
So cool. So very good.
Yeah.
I know that's what I've been waiting for.
There are NPC ships that you can battle with, of course. They say that it is very comparable to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is kind of why this game exists, because people loved Black Flag so much and wanted an entire game of that. And there is some of that, for sure. But in order to get to it, you have to do a lot of building and resource management.
Well, ship's a lot of wood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want a ship? That's a lot of wood.
So, according to this article, the first few hours of the game is truly about collecting resources, cutting down trees, crafting things. You have to pull your ship up to the shore. You have to do kind of like a weird mini game about that. And you have to, there's a lot of like timed mini games on trying to get these things right. So it feels like they gamified this so much that worries me. That they're like, yeah, this is a big part of the game, to the fact that we're gamifying parking your ship at the island and cutting down a tree.
There were a lot of questions during an interview with Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, who took some time. He stopped harassing people for long enough to take a meeting.
Yeah.
And he's allegedly. And he said, he said basically, because people are asking, this is a $70 game.
Yeah.
But you are clearly putting so many things on timers. You're making so many things resource-based. You are adding microtransactions and battle passes and season passes and all of this stuff pretty much right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Why are you not broadening the player base as a free-to-play game?
Yeah.
Which is the diplomatic way to say, hey, fucker, how are you charging full price for this when you're going to be nickel and diming me the whole way through? And he said, you will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. Whoa. It's a real game.
After 15 years, you made a whole game.
After 37 years, it's a real game. We promise. We've been promising.
All right.
He says, it's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. It's a really full triple, and then he went, no, quadruple A game.
Okay,
that
shut
will
up.
deliver in the long run.
Shut
Ladies
up.
and gentlemen, we did it. The world's first quadruple A game. We made it. We did it. It's quadruple A, baby.
I need them to shut up because I want to play this game.
Look,
you know what I mean? Like, I need you to shut the fuck up and not ruin this for me.
Saige, listen to me.
Yeah.
If we've reached the quadruple A game, that means we're only a few more pulls away from a quintuple A game, and then we can get an S rank game. And then we'll be unstoppable in the meta.
And it'll cost $500.
But it'll be S rank.
Oh, okay. Okay, continuing on some of the gameplay of this game. They take the worst aspect of Dungeons and Dragons and make you deal with encumbrance.
Wait, I was going to say the worst part is like when people cancel. Like people can just cancel.
Yeah, no.
Like they're going to cancel the game.
The second worst.
Oh.
They've already done that part enough times. The second worst, encumbrance. At one point, they said they put too much wood on their ship, and the crew yelled at them. So then you get into pirate action, right? And you're like, okay, I want to do a pirate battle. I love shooting cannons. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they sailed out. They fired some cannons at another ship, okay, ready to loot. They got the notification that they'd hit, and it was ready to be boarded. And then you get a cutscene and loot.
No, I swing onto the ship and then I fight with my sword, and then we take out the crew with our swords.
No,
and then if somebody raids me, I can fight back, and maybe they don't destroy my ship. And,
No, you board, and what you get is more crafting supplies.
But I can't hold any more crafting supplies. The crew's mad at me.
Yeah, well, the crew's gonna be really mad at you because you just picked up a bunch of coconuts.
But I don't want
in that cutscene.
They didn't have any gold?
Maybe a couple iron.
But I don't have any more room for iron.
Yeah,
the crew's so mad.
There's no like treasure chests so far. It's all more crafting supplies that you can go back and craft more things.
But I don't want to do that. Saige?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want in the pirate game to be told I have too much pirate stuff on my pirate ship to do any more pirating.
Yeah.
And then if I want to get rid of the pirate stuff, I have to pay to dock my ship to get rid of the pirate stuff. And then I just got rid of it, but I spent hours getting it.
Yeah.
And then when I use up all the stuff that's on my ship, the stuff that I didn't use up is gone.
Yeah.
So I gotta chop more wood, see more cutscenes.
Yeah. Basically. All in all, this Kotaku review comes around calling it.
I'm sorry. What part of this do you think is pirate? Do they say what part is pirate?
Well, you did fire some cannons. That's kind of
Did I? Do I even aim them, or do I like put somebody on the cannon and just hit the button?
You aim.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Aiming the cannons is my least favorite part of every pirate game.
Oh, I love it. I love to man the cannons.
Do you really?
Oh, I love it. And Sea of Thieves specifically.
Yeah.
I love it.
No.
I hate to steer the ship.
I love to steer the ship, and I love to swing on to the other ship and fight with my sword.
Yeah.
I don't like to aim the cannon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So I'm sorry, you were going to give the wrap up of this.
The wrap up is, this Kotaku article says, maybe I could excuse the dull resource management and lack of exciting pirate gameplay if the game looked gorgeous and had some impressive digital water.
No.
But even the ocean in Skull and Bones isn't much to write home about.
But it's all water.
A shame since you spent a lot of time looking at it. Compared to Sea of Thieves and its beautiful water that looks good enough to drink, Skull and Bones water is a dirty mess. Visual artifacts dot the waters, and pop-in is an issue too. Trees and rocks looking like they were pulled out of a PS2 game until you get close enough to cut them down.
How do you have pop-in? How do you have pop-in in a pirate game? The whole reason Wind Waker on the GameCube was on the ocean is because it's easy to render the ocean. The ocean can stretch on forever. What the actual fucking fuck?
Yeah.
I wish I played the open beta. I should have played the open beta. I love to play a bad game.
I know.
I don't like to pay. Oh, you had to pay to be in the beta, though. By open, they meant anybody can join, but you had to pay the $70 for the game.
You had to pre-order it,
You had to
essentially.
pre-order, yeah.
So
and I wasn't going to do that.
There is some interesting stuff with infamy in there. Like if you successfully get enough infamy points, sometimes you'll come back and everyone on your ship will be cheering your name.
If Yves Guillemot gets enough infamy points, can we put him in jail?
It turns out no.
Whoa.
The answer to that is here, and unfortunately, it's no.
Well, this is a bummer, but they've only been working
People
on
are
it
saying
for...
the beta was free.
Yeah, okay, good. They've only been working on it for 7 years, though.
Yeah.
So I
Give
think,
them time.
give them a little time. They'll iron all these kinks out. They just need another 7 years or so. What a bummer. But actually not, because weren't we saying that the thing that we hope the most about Skull and Bones is it gets more people playing Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, if you guys are seeing this and you're like, damn, I should go back to Sea of Thieves, let's do it.
Or you should try Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, free to play.
God, I love that game. God, I want to
saying.
play that game. And that's all of the show that we have time for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We start right on time every day.
That's right.
And
that we don't.
If you're not here with us live at 9 a.m., you can catch the show on YouTube. You can catch it on Spotify in audio form, or you can catch it on our Patreon. And if you go to patreon.com/pixelcircus, you can see our bonus clip that we give you from the show is somewhere between 5 and 1 hour of extra content.
Depends.
5 minutes and 1 hour. Usually around 15 minutes of extra content per week from It's Too Early. And this week, we played WarioWare Smooth Moves for you.
That's right. 1 week we went 2.5 hours, but we can't promise that every week. If you do have the time, please do go by this afternoon after we post the YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube, maybe comment, throw a like on there. It really helps. We're growing that YouTube, and it's really helping us out.
It's free to do.
And also, thank you so much to everybody who tweets when we go live, who shares the show on social. Thanks to everybody who puts stories into the Discord for us to take a look at. We really, really appreciate you. And you know who else we appreciate?
Who?
People who give us money during the show.
You're so right. Hey, there's a lot of ways to support us, and that is also one of them.
That's right.
We are going to go through and we're going to thank everyone that supported us live during the show here on Twitch today. But first, Anthony.
Yes.
Where else are you?
I am everywhere and nowhere. I am a shadow. I am a ghost in the system. I am the ones and zeros. You will never find me. You will never see me. You will never catch me. Saige, where are you?
Everywhere on the internet at NotSage. I'll be live on my channel tonight. And speaking of people we appreciate, Alex, what about you?
Hi, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter at Alder_Mancy, and I'm just hanging out this week. That's all.
All right.
Just vibing.
Sweet.